when you thought the narcissist had changed. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So the narcissist, how many times did you think that they had changed? They were about to change. They wanted to change, and they would change. Way too many. You see, you weren't taught narcissism 101 in school. You weren't educated on toxicity. You probably didn't even know that you were an empath or had a high level of empathy, and I can assure you, you didn't have boundaries. What you were to the narcissist was an open book. You were a person who was giving to a fault. You were telling them all about yourself. You were sharing all the information you could with them, thinking that they were similar to you, thinking that they had your best interest at heart, and thinking that they could change over time. Now, why I'm saying all these things is because when we are entering these relationships, or when we did in the past, I should say, we don't know what we know now. We didn't know that gaslighting was a thing. We didn't know that triangulation existed. We didn't know that financial abuse was real. We didn't know that another person could talk out of both sides of their mouth and claim that they loved us, but yet cheat on us an hour later. You didn't know that when the narcissist had you locked down and pinned down in that narcissistic fog or the trauma bond, or when they were devaluing you and you were stuck at home looking at your phone and waiting for them to text you or call you, or waiting to see where they are or what they would pop up, or if they read your message or if they didn't. You didn't realize when they were doing that, that what you were doing is your life was being put on hold. And the narcissist knew that. They also knew that they weren't going to change, but that they were changing you. Early on when you were in the relationship, or let's go back in time before you even met the narcissist, think of all the hobbies that you participated in. Maybe you had a book club, maybe you were in the chess club, maybe you liked to bike ride or go do yoga or hot Pilates or something, or swim, who knows. Well, when you met the narcissist, a lot of that, if not all of it, went by the wayside, because the narcissist didn't want you to be yourself. And your hobbies are just one thing they took from you. So again, whatever you were doing before you met them, as soon as you got in that relationship with them, I can assure you, those hobbies went away rather quickly. Instead of swimming 3, 4, 5, 6 days a week, you were probably swimming 2 or 3 days, and that turned into one. And then eventually you didn't feel like getting out of bed or going to the pool because it was just too much work. And you'd rather be on call, on duty, if you will, to see when the narcissist would rear their ugly head and ask you to pick up the kids, or to do the laundry, or to sweep, or to cook, or go to the store. You see, you were the indentured servant. You were the walking apology. You were walking around on eggshells. Your life was put on hold. You were the unpaid helper. You were the walking ATM, and you were the servant. I don't say those things lightly. I was the same thing. I'm saying it because I'm paying it forward and helping you understand that the narcissist is everywhere. They know what they're doing. They did it before they met you. They did it with you, and they're doing it right now. And when you were thinking that the narcissist, or you thought the narcissist could or would change, you didn't know that these people don't change. You didn't realize they only deteriorate. You didn't realize that each and every narcissistic relationship has an expiration date, and yours was no different. You didn't realize that this person knew what they were doing to you. You were spinning your wheels on that hamster wheel of abuse. You were stuck on that island of manipulation in an ocean of toxicity. You could not ever have a voice. You weren't respected, you weren't listened to, you were being treated less than a complete stranger, you were taken for granted, and you couldn't do anything right. I will go back in time again. Remember when you met the narcissist, you were what I call the shiny object, the new toy, the new thing to play with. You were the new Barbie doll or the new Ken doll that the narcissist wanted to lather up and have their dirty fangs get sunken into you, so you would fall into the web of manipulation, as so many other people had done before you. But back then, they were showering you with fake affection. They were showering you fake empathy, with fake kindness, with fake commitment, with fake caring. They were future faking you left, right, and center. And many people have different definitions on what future faking is. You can think whatever you want. My definition, very simply, is when a toxic person is telling you something that you want to hear to keep you tethered or stuck to them longer, knowing that that will never come to fruition. So you are putting your hopes and your dreams, basically all of your eggs in one basket, hoping, example, we're gonna get that beach house, we're gonna retire together, we're gonna watch the kids have grandkids, and we're gonna live happily ever after and watch the sunset every night and sit there and just enjoy each other's company. Well, that doesn't happen. That's called future faking. So your definition may be different. Whatever definition you have, that's fine with me. I'm sharing real life experiences, and future faking is a toxic, life-threatening, debilitating slow drip of abuse that you can't get out of your system until you wrap your head around what kind of relationship you were a part of. Again, back then you didn't know where you were. You only knew that you were trying to get out of the devaluation stage back to that euphoric / love bomb stage, which was the beginning of the relationship when the narcissist was future faking you. But what you didn't know is you're on that wheel of abuse. And you know by now how the narcissistic abusive cycle goes. It goes love bomb, stage 1. Stage 2 is when the dirty fangs are sunken into, enter devaluation stage. Yes, that's stage 2. That's the longest part of the relationship usually. Part 3 is the ending, however it ends. And part 4, at times, not always, there's a thing called a Hoover. We are now flat dab in the middle of the holiday season. Do not, and I mean do not, accept a Hoover. The narcissist will attempt to pop up if they deem you not strong enough to test the mettle of you. And a Hoover is not meant to have you get back in a relationship with them. All the narcissist wants to do is test the temperature of you. Do they still matter to you? Are you still thinking of them? Are you still thinking about the past? Are you still stuck in the past? Are you still thinking they can change? See where I'm going with this video? You're getting it now. That's why the narcissist will never change. That's why all they do is shape shift throughout life. And all they do is wear a different mask for a different audience that they're performing for on any one given day of their life. When they were with you, that was a mask for 1. When they were with you and your best friend, that was a mask for 2. When they were with the new supply, triangulating you and acting like they didn't even know you, even though you were married, there was another, actually 2 or 3 masks at one time. Having said all these things, the narcissist isn't authentic or genuine. They are cowards, they're bullies, they're hollow, they're shallow. They are knowing what they're doing, and they want to manipulate and trap people as long as they can. Above all, for this video, when you were giving the narcissist, or when you were thinking the narcissist could change, this is what they wanted you thinking. This would keep you holding on to what would never be. It's when you would be holding on to the future faking they presented to you. It's when you would be holding on to, let's say, maybe you had intimacy with the narcissist and you thought it was the best intimacy you had ever had. Well, that's when you were with them. If you go back in time, maybe it wasn't, maybe it was, I can't tell you. What I can tell you is everything is a performance for the narcissist. Everything is a performance by the narcissist. And sometimes they have an audience of 1, sometimes it's of 2, 3, 5, 10, 30, who knows? But if there is no audience, what does the narcissist have to do? That's right, they have to drum up a new audience or recycle an old audience. And they want these people, the people that they knew in the past, thinking, you got it, ding, 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 that they could change or that they have changed. The narcissist will never change. They only will deteriorate. They will get worse and worse over time. As the narcissist ages and goes through life, they become what is known as the aging narcissist. The aging narcissist is not, and I repeat, not a pretty sight to see. These are people that are wearing clothes of 30 years ago, thinking they can still fit into their size 2 clothes, or they're having a hairstyle from 30 years ago, or they're using words from the current day when they have no business using the words, or they're making awkward dances to creative artists that they shouldn't be moving their body that way. But the aging narcissist doesn't care, because all they're doing is looking for an audience. They're fishing, they're searching, they're scouring. The narcissist exists in that low vibrational quagmire state, and that state is lower than anything below your shoe. I mean, it's low. That is where they trapped you for a period of time, which was the length of the relationship until you escaped. Now, when I say escaped, you may have been discarded like me, and if you are, you still escaped, you got out, and you're healing or you've healed. If you removed yourself from the narcissistic relationship, then you escaped a different way. But anyway you cut it, you're out. When you're out, you need to stay out. When you stay out, you need to maintain your boundaries, which is why in every video I create, virtually, I suggest for people, and I'm no different, to go no contact, block that person, delete them, remove them, and all flying monkeys and people associated with them, if not now, when. There will be casualties of the narcissistic relationship littered all throughout the body of that relationship. You will lose people that you actually loved. I'm not talking about the narcissist, that's a whole different topic. I'm talking about maybe their in-laws, or maybe their kids, or maybe their people that you knew, or friends, or colleagues, or people in groups, or people in restaurants you used to go to, maybe the owners of the restaurants, I don't know, but there will be people that will be casualties of the relationship. You'll have to let them go. Because if the narcissist is still communicating with these people, and rest assured they probably are, well, then you're still one step away from the narcissist, and this is how the narcissist could enlist these people as flying monkeys. And these people may not and probably don't even know they're a flying monkey. What is a flying monkey, you may ask? It's a person who is getting information back to the narcissist. Many flying monkeys know what they're doing, and probably by now they know what the term is. Many of them don't. Example, a child could be a flying monkey without even knowing it. Truth be told, they are. But they don't know any better because they're kids. Unlike the narcissists who never grew up mentally or emotionally, they grew up physically, but not these other two ways. They know what they're doing. They plot it out and plan it out. Think about this. When you were in the relationship, you were on a chessboard of abuse. You were a pawn, thinking you were the king or the queen, and that thinking the person next to you, the other king or queen, was with you. Not playing a game, but moving through life. Well, that's not reality. What reality was, you were a pawn on the far left or right side of the board, being used, doing whatever the narcissist wanted you to do as they were moving you around the board, and eventually you would get knocked off. That's what they were hoping. That is not what happened with you. What happened with you is you dusted yourself off by the bootstraps. You rose through the ashes like a phoenix and you've healed, or you are healing. And this is why you understand now that the narcissist doesn't change. They can't change. They don't want to change. It would be too painful, and they never will change. But you didn't know back then what you know now. So remember, had you seen the signs and knew what the definitions in the glossary on the narcissistic abusive cycle were when you met the narcissist, you may have avoided entering a relationship with that person. Possibly, can't tell you. What I can tell you is that's not what happened. What happened was you were naive, you were trusting, you had a high level of empathy, you were an open book, you possibly were a people pleaser, you definitely did not have boundaries, and above all for this video, you did not know what toxicity was, i.e. narcissism, and you did not realize that a person who could look like you, walk like you, talk like you, and act like you could be your abuser and put an invisible leash around you and your body and carry you or pull you through life and make you do whatever they wanted you to do until when, right? Until the relationship ended. And then you cut the ties. And what are the ties? The ties are the four ties: the emotional tie, the financial tie, the physical tie, and the spiritual tie. And these will be cut, if they haven't been cut already, by you. They're not going to be cut by the narcissist. They'll be cut by you. And as you cut them, you get stronger. As you get stronger, they get weaker. As they get weaker, clarity arrives in your mind. The clearer your mind gets, the more the fog lifts, the more the dust settles, the smoke clears, the more you realize that that relationship was worse than you thought it was. Yes, it was. You see, when you're in the relationship, and I was no different, you're always turning a blind eye. You're not trusting your instincts, you're not trusting your intuition, you're ignoring red flags, and you're thinking you can handle it. You're tough enough, you can make it out, or if they have problems, and you can ride the wave with them, and you can be there to baby them or change their diapers, or to be there and comfort them and help them and steer them and direct them. This includes when they get fired from their jobs. It's when includes when they don't know how to get a new job, when they don't know how to pay a bill, when they don't know how to sign a lease, or they don't have credit because they're parasites. Not everyone doesn't have, I'm not saying everyone that doesn't have credit is a parasite. I'm talking about the narcissist. Believe me, credit, I get it. But having said all these things, when you're doing everything for them, they expect you to do these things. Now flip it. When you needed something from them, example, you got a flat tire. Hey, can you pick me up today at 5:30? I get out of work at 5 and I've got to call the mechanic and blah, blah, blah. And 5:30 would be great if you pick me up. Mysteriously, they're unavailable. Or they tell you, you know what, there's a business meeting. They're going to be late. They can't make it. What do you think the narcissist does when they tell you no? And this is assuming they ever texted you back and told you they wouldn't pick you up at 5:30. What do you think that does for the narcissist? That's right. It twists the knife in you. It divides or drives a wedge between you and them. It has you wondering and questioning why they didn't pick you up when you picked them up dozens, if not hundreds of times. Now the narcissist knows, and I really hope you're following this part of the video. Now the narcissist knows that you don't have a car. They also know that you're going to be paying some money for it because they're not going to pay a dime. And they also know now they have a window to do whatever they want to because you won't be home probably till 7 o'clock. There's a 2-hour window where they could insert the new supply. Ding, ding, ding. There are so many layers upon layers upon layers of the narcissistic abusive cycle that I could dissect each and every one of them, but it would probably take me 10,000 lifetimes. I am awakened, I'm aware, I'm educated, I am empowered. My hope is that is who you are, or it's who you're becoming. And one of the main things for this video is understanding that back then, and I was no different, you were thinking the narcissist could change, or when you thought the narcissist could change. This is without even knowing that they were a narcissist. You were trying to patch up the boat that you were sailing in on an ocean of abuse that they kept puncturing holes in, deliberately, intentionally, and on purpose. And your job was to be the rudder, the sail, the engine, the supply source, the person who was doing everything as they sat back in the chair, drove the ship, steered it while you were doing everything and more. And they were sitting there with a glass of wine, mocking you, laughing at you, giving you the smirk, giving you the side eye, saying, wow, you've already patched up about 8,000 holes in this boat. I know the destination I'm going to. That's called the island of the new supply. I know how to get there. How many more holes in the boat do I have to puncture before it capsizes and I jettison this boat and jump onto that island of the new supply, and you're left sunk or sinking in this ocean of abuse? Let's see. And I'm acting like the narcissist, and I am not. I've done this 3 or 4 times now, and my ex-spouses or ex-romantic relationships, which is what I'm referring to, but that doesn't have to be who the narcissist was in your life. 2 of them aren't living. 1 of them's stuck, still calling me or texting me. They haven't gotten the message. This one should be a little bit easier because I'm getting really good at my skill set. I think if I puncture another 10, 15, 30 holes in the boat, that should get me to that island of the new supply, and I can jettison there. I'll just jump on the dinghy. I'll go there, and this ship will sink with you in it. That's what they're hoping for. A little graphic, but no truer words have ever been said, because the narcissist wants to use, abuse, manipulate, make sure that that person that they just destroyed their life, make sure that person doesn't live to talk about it, doesn't live to tell about it, doesn't live through it and heal properly. Well, that's what I've done, and that's what you're doing or you're about to do. But back then you didn't realize that the narcissist couldn't change. That's why you kept on fixing the holes in the boat that they were puncturing deliberately and intentionally while they were on the path or on the ocean of abuse, headed towards the island of the new supply. And yes, I just created this right now, and no, I'm not AI. Having said all those things, when you finally wrap your head around what this person did and what you know about narcissism and what you've discovered about the things that they did, you're only scratching the surface about what they actually did. You don't know where they were when they weren't with you. You don't know where they were when they claimed they were somewhere else. You don't know if they actually had a full-time job. You don't know if they didn't have 3 more supply sources in 3 different towns within a 10-minute radius of where you lived. You will never know. And truth be told, you don't want to know. The less you know about the toxic parasite, the better off you are. The less they know about you, the better off you are. Again, way back then, you didn't have this wisdom. You didn't realize that. That's why you were the open book. That's why you were sharing everything with them, because you thought you were in a committed, healthy, two-way, reciprocal, stable relationship. You were in a life-threatening, debilitating relationship with a person who was trying to capsize you on the boat, and only you, not them. And they did not want you ever to figure it out. But that's not how it ended up for you. How it ended up for you, you figured it out, and here you are. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. Sorry about the chainsaw. I almost timed this video perfectly. I love you all. God bless you, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.